Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you how to safely take down a tree by yourself. Now I'm not a professional, I probably cut down about 50 trees in a bunch of different sizes, but this is the best way that I have found to safely take down a tree. So stick around and I'll show you how to do that. So here's a very large tree that we cut down. It was right up against our porch and about 10 feet from the house. It was super important that this fell exactly where we wanted so that it didn't cause any damage. Now, in order to make sure that it's going in the right direction, we didn't just use one strap, one come along to pull this down. We actually used two to make sort of a triangle shape, and this keeps it from going to the right or the left. It'll make it land exactly in the middle where you want it to go. Now we mounted these come-alongs to the base of two large trees that could support the weight we were going to be putting on them. At the base, we also put the come-alongs. Each come-along can pull 2,000 pounds, equaling 4,000 pounds of pressure that it can pull. The straps will pull the tree leaning in the direction you'll want it to go, and if you notch the tree correctly, it will continue in that direction and fall exactly where you want it. Now here's the tree that we're going to be working on today. It's much smaller, however, this is leaning directly towards our carport, our neighbor's shed, and the fence line in between. I do not want to crush any of those, so this is going to be really important to make sure that the tree falls the opposite direction. To do this, we're going to have to pull it down with a strap. The same technique will work perfectly for this. So first I'm going to start out with a weight on a small string. What you want to do is throw this up over a tall branch or section of the tree that you can strap to. Now this is a little tricky. It took me about 6 tries to get it up over this branch. It's 30 feet in the air. Now this string, I'm afraid, is too small to pull the weight of the straps up and over the tree. So I'm going to tie a small rope to it first, pull that up through, and tie the strap to the end of that rope. That way it will have enough strength and I can easily pull the strap up and over. Now it's important to go high up into the tree, or else you're not going to have enough leverage to actually pull the weight of the tree your direction if it's really leaning. This tree is pretty small. I'm actually only going to use one come along to ratchet this, but I went pretty high up, so I have plenty of leverage to pull this tree over. So I'm going to start ratcheting this, and what I'm trying to do at this point is just take off the weight of the tree leaning. I don't want to ratchet too far, or else I could snap the tree or the branch it's tied to. Now here you can see the strap running all the way to the base of another large tree that's strong enough to support the weight. The ratchet is located right at the base of that tree, so I can easily reach it. Now that the weight's taken off, now it's time to cut the wedge, and I'm still going to cut the wedge in the direction I want the tree to fall. This really is what helps guide it and make sure once it starts falling, it's going to continue in that direction. So I'm going to face the wedge exactly where I want the tree to fall, and this ended up being pretty close where it actually fell. Now the wedge is about to come loose. I'm going to start cutting the back cut, and to do this you want to make sure that you're coming even with the wedge that you cut. You don't want to be above or below, or else it could cause the tree to kick out. Now I've cut everything but 10% of the tree left in the middle, and I'm going to start putting in some metal wedges to push the tree from the base towards the direction I want it to go as well. Now you can see the wedge that I've cut, as well as the back cut to relieve the pressure of the tree. Now I'm going to start ratcheting and trying to pull it as far as I can my direction so that it doesn't fall towards the carport. Now, I knew this tree was dying, but it was in much worse shape than I thought. The base was already pretty eaten away by carpenter ants, and it was a lot weaker. So it's a really good thing we used the straps to make sure that it was going in the right direction, because if I would have just cut this with the wedge and tried to drop it where I wanted, it probably would have gone the wrong direction. Now the tree's down, there's a lot of work to clean this up, and to start, I'm gonna get the bulk of the branches out of the way so that I can see what I'm doing. You don't wanna be climbing through these branches, tripping, and risking falling on the chainsaw while you're working. So I'm gonna trim off all the branches, carry those down to a burn pile, and burn them. Now, if you guys are regular viewers of the channel and would love to help out, but also get some really cool merch with my logo on it for Simon Says DIY, go check out patreon.com. I'll leave the link down in the description, but this is a place where you guys can help support the channel, but I'll also be giving away this free merch to my supporters on Patreon. So if you're interested in that, go check it out, and I'll get back to work now. Now everything larger than about 3 inches in diameter I'm gonna save for firewood. So I need to cut these all into 16-inch pieces. I'll then pile those up, let it dry for a little bit, and come back and split those at a later time. Now what I'm going to be doing with these large sections of logs, I need to cut them into 16-inch sections, but you don't want to cut all the way through the log. The chainsaw will get stuck because of the weight pushing down on it, but it also will dull the chain if you touch the dirt at all. So what I'm going to do is cut about 2/3 of the way through the log. As soon as it starts getting a little tight, I'll then move down 16 inches and make another. And you'll keep repeating this all the way down the log, and then once you get about 10 feet or so, you can cut the log all the way through once, and then roll the log over to finish the cut. Now the log has been turned over, I can finish those cuts like I was talking about before. And with these, you'll want to cut going up, that way it doesn't pinch the saw as you're trying to cut. Because all the weight's going to be pushing down towards the ground, opening the bottom cut up and pinching the top, compressing it together. Now this tree was the biggest pain in the butt to clean up. This is actually a chestnut tree, so there are hundreds and hundreds of these tiny cactus spiky balls that you can't hardly even touch. Even with these gloves on, the needles are poking through my gloves and you can't pick them up by hand. So I'm just going to be raking all those together, pushing them into a garbage can, carrying those down and burning them. Now I know some of you might give me a hard time about cutting down this chestnut tree. It actually needed to be cut down. It was going to cause damage. It was dying on its own. So I had to cut it down, but I actually was able to find a couple chestnut saplings below this tree that I'm going to replant and try to grow this tree again. I also have some of the chestnuts saved, so I'm going to try to grow a sapling on those and just replace what I've cut down with a healthy new tree. Now, just to show you what was happening with this tree, why it was dying, I just found out towards the base as I was cutting through this log, they split open and there were tons of carpenter ants just chewing this log apart. I don't think this tree would have been alive for much longer from the damage that these ants were doing. I'm actually not going to keep those damaged sections of the logs. I don't want to let the ants spread into all the other firewood I have stored, so I'm going to be throwing those directly into the burn pile, but all the clear logs that have no damage, I'm going to save for firewood. Now that just about finishes up the video for today. Like I mentioned, I'm not a professional, just a homeowner getting work done around the house, and it's really important to stay safe while you're cutting down trees, especially when there's obstacles that you do not want to hit. And come alongs really help with that, strapping the tree, making sure it doesn't fall where you don't want it to. It really helps a lot. So stay safe while you do this. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did and found this video helpful, hit that like button down below and help me out. Also, leave any comments or suggestions you have down in the comment section. I look forward to seeing those and hearing from you guys. Now, I'm also going to be cutting this stump down a little further and trying to get rid of this. Now, it's really hard to get rid of a stump completely. I have actually posted a video on how to do that, so if you're interested in getting rid of the stump, check out the video in the description below, or at the end of this video, I'll leave the link there for you guys. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you have not already, and the bell icon right below that to get notifications when I upload a new video. Now, each week I upload a video on Saturday, so stay tuned for future videos to come.